Hi, I'm Dorian, or Leviathan of my friends, and I'm an eldritch abomination lurking in the corners of your attic. I've also been siphoning your internet for the past 15 years and posting my art there, which means I've seen a lot of discourse in my day. One of the biggest of which is this ongoing battle between smaller and bigger artists. And boy, do I have some stories to tell you. So go ahead and get a snack. We'll be settling in for a while. Unless you're really honed in on the freelancing art scene or were active during the early stages of the pandemic on social media, specifically Twitter, you might not know about this huge sore spot between two parts of our community, which is follower count. Yes, this boils down to follower count. A small artist, from my research and experience, seems to be anyone below 10K or thereabouts on any social media site, bar maybe TikTok. A big artist numbers are anywhere from 10K and above, relatively at least. So for example, I'm a small artist according to my follower account on Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube. But on Instagram, I'm starting to hit that area of big artist at over 6K followers. The most common stereotype of a small artist is that you have those low numbers because you are amateurish or a hobbyist. The stereotype of a big artist is that they have those big numbers because they're incredibly professional and are incredibly serious about their job or their art in general, and that they are absolutely swimming in money simply because of their following, unlike the smaller artists who are dirt poor and will never get above dirt poor. This is not the case at all. I'm here to completely turn your world upside down. Aside from follower count and minor differences, there isn't anything else to differentiate between small and big artists. The only forms of money I do get are from Patreon, which as of May 1st, I made £213 in commissions, which I have made about £600 to £700 from monthly since February. I'm not monetized yet on YouTube, and I've had a retail day job on and off since I was 18. I'm almost 27 now. Just because I have thousands of people following me on various platforms does not mean that I have made it or that I'm rich. One day, I would like an industry job in animation or games, but for now, I'm making art for private clients, and I make stickers and prints for an Etsy shop I run with my husband. A good example, actually, would be to compare my husband and I. While I have thousands of people following me on social media, Instagram in particular, and I do get commissions regularly, I dropped out of college. I don't have an art degree, and I've been rejected from all the jobs that I have applied for, which is fair enough. There's a lot of competition, and my portfolio could use some work. My husband, on the other hand, has an illustration degree and went to university. He has less than 1,000 followers everywhere, and he doesn't take commissions regularly because it stresses him out, which is also fair. But he has an industry job. He got one most recently, and we are absolutely overjoyed that he got one in general, and we're hoping that it'll lead to better opportunities for us both. We both worked for a decade at jobs we hated, wishing and hoping to make it. Small and big artists don't really exist in the real world. We're just artists of differing varieties. But the internet would tell you that there's this divide between these two halves of our community, that big artists have made it and small artists haven't and never will. They regularly attack each other for the most silly of reasons. A big example was in 2022, an artist by the name of KZell created the tag #NobodyArtistClub, and it went viral really fast. They created a tag for all the small artists under 10K that weren't being seen by the algorithm or Twitter in general, and it was genuinely something good and wholesome. I myself participated. It was okay. I didn't see a lot of big numbers, but it was okay. Unfortunately, because it's Twitter and the internet in general, a lot of people took issue with the naming of it, feeling it was a personal attack, or that because they were over 10K that they were being called out, and for some reason that they couldn't be part of the Nobody Artist Club because they had too much renown or something, which wasn't the case at all. It came from a place of feeling genuinely underappreciated as an artist and being unable to support oneself as a freelancer creative and a creative in general. For KZL, it did mean that they got a lot of hate, and the tweets are pretty much buried now, but from what I remember, they had to completely leave Twitter for a couple days to a couple weeks. And the thing is, it only gained traction for them. Maybe some stragglers got attention, but the majority of people using the tag now don't even get views. KZL is now sitting at 14.2k followers from the help of the tag, 2 years of growth, and also the explosion of people genuinely enjoying their comics, particularly Haunting Dagger, which looks pretty awesome. They make a lot of money now compared to, say, myself over on Patreon. They make about 14.5k a year, and they deserve that. Over on Twitter, they're not much bigger than what the cutoff is for a small artist to be a big artist, but it's still 14.2k people in one room yelling in excitement about their art, right? Not really. Social media plays this funny game in displaying how many followers you have. It makes us believe that we need to be attaining football stadiums worth of people just to have our art looked at. That's not how it works. You have to constantly be using social media every day for that to pay off, and nobody has the time for that. Not really, at least. The best you can do as an artist is schedule things in advance and hope they do well, but even then, it's only if you're lucky. I have 1.2k followers on Twitter, but I regularly get single digits on anything that isn't trending, if anything at all. As of recording this, my last art post on Instagram got 627 likes and was seen by 4.2k people, 27% of which were my own followers. You see what I'm getting at? A third of my followers, that's 6,000 people, actually saw that post. I don't want to even look at my analytics for Twitter, and I honestly don't anymore, and I highly suggest that you guys don't either. Eventually, I want to post more and get more engagement because I have cool mutuals and there's companies who hire artists off of Twitter, but it doesn't bring me anything at the moment. It doesn't spark joy, as Marie Kondo would say. After finding out the numbers are arbitrary unless you post every day, it kind of made me realize we've all been manipulated into being perfectionists. Perfectionism is what's hurting our community. It leads to elitism and gatekeeping because people think they're better than smaller artists, but at the same time see them as a threat. They no longer remember where they came from. And smaller artists are so ferocious and have nothing to lose that if one person says, work on your art and you'll get more commissions, they'll get dogpiled for uttering a word, which does happen regularly. There will be people that say, hey, you're probably not getting commissions because your art just isn't there, or you really need to work on anatomy or lighting or really engaging with people, catching your audience's eye. And smaller artists will look at that and take it as a personal attack instead of a critique. Now, I understand that those smaller artists may just want to vent and to be heard, especially by the bigger artists they might idolize, but you can't do that. Sometimes there is a reason people are not paying for your commissions, and as much as that might hurt, you can't out the gate rely on art as an income. You have to get a day job usually, unless you're incredibly lucky and skilled. I'm sorry. I went through that disappointment too. This dogpiling has happened so many times in Twitter's history, it's hard to count. We need to remember everyone starts somewhere and we're all supposed to be helping each other. Give your brushes out for free if you can. Tell people how you created something, how you line or color. Tell people about your manufacturers and give insights to the industry. How else will we learn and grow? What happens when the big artists stay the same and there's a ton of little artists beneath them? That sort of sounds like a certain political climate we exist in, doesn't it? You can try to make money with your following and give things out for free at the same time. You can use your platform for good things. And you should. We all should, big or small. Make that stick figure drawing. Don't be worried about your still lifes being bad or that you had a breakdown over the lighting in your piece. I have breakdowns about my art all the time. You're fine. We all do it. We all make mistakes, and nobody is immune to that, especially in the art community. It's about creating something awesome, not about tearing anyone down. Perceived big or small, we are still artists. That got a little heavy, didn't it? Sorry about that. It's really been on my mind as someone who is now going to full-time freelance and is able to quit their retail job. I've been thinking about how I got here and why my thoughts on follower count and engagement have really changed. It really is all about consistency and posting every day. I used to be so tied to my numbers, and I still kind of am, especially on YouTube at the moment, but I'm slowly learning to let go and just let things do what they need to do. Remember that your audience will show up, and the only thing standing between you and having a career in art, freelance, or industry is you. Just don't look for any improvement in the attic. All that's up there is a bunch of eyes and a void that will drag you kicking and screaming. Thank you to Jacques, Herald of the Dark Roast, Meg, Exarch of the Golden Egg, High Artisan Anonymous B, Great Alpha Wolf Squilliam William, Nairuz, Seer of Rosy Mercy, Ghost, Infernal Collector of the Damned, Golden Paladin Court, Isabella, Redeemer of Bad Himbos, Keeper of the Lapin Warren, Robin, Most Royal of all the Rats, Ethereal Consort of House Vicarian, Fungal Sovereign Taz, Exalted Curator Wick, the Under-Elf of Delphinia, Paragon of Starlight, an impossible amount of rat babies, Divine Herald Jordan, Estrella, Sage of the Outer Realms, Wretched Sauce of House Worcestershire, Champion Pallypunk of the Immortal Valley, Taylor of Macabre Coney Livery, Eternal Apostle Austin, the Contingent of Fables, the Eminence of Light, Bunny, Exarch of the Ornate Tomb, Harley the Sanguinous, Grand Overlord Silas, Being of Exalted Sunlight, Delegate of Clan Latineurs, Eternal Consul Puja, High Magi Katie, the Herald of Wrens, Knight Susan of the Milkiest Order, and the Great Seer Claire.